Do you ever have a dream that comes true?
It is an epic story, for it tells of the creation of an empire.
Assuring the future of America.
The only way I know of finding it is to drill.
The word sovereignty, it's talked about in a very limited context, like government sovereignty. But sovereignty goes beyond that. The right to live, the right to life. And without water, no one survives.
In the very beginning, there was just a couple of videos and just a couple of kids. And it grew into such a huge and powerful movement that started this entire camp. This is just one pipeline. There are pipelines being built everywhere.
The Dakota Access Pipeline is a 1,172-mile oil pipeline. In 2016, the pipeline was rerouted next to and on the Standing Rock Sioux Native American Reservation. Nearly 15,000 protectors from around the world, led by indigenous people, protested, staging a historic sit-in. Today, in Standing Rock and around the world, the fight to end fossil fuel development and to protect our water continues.
Well, aloha, my name's Aaron. I'm here from the Pacific Northwest with some of our family from up and down through California and Oregon and Pacific Islands, and we're hard at work here with probably the 6,000 other people that are here right now, and it really is about prayer here. It really is about 7 generations of people praying and being as active as we can in a nonviolent way. We've been in nonviolent action here for 8 solid months, ever since a group of grandmothers got together to point the youth in the direction of what they were doing here, doing illegal militarized style corporate invasion and desecration of sacred sites, moving some of the dirtiest oil on our planet to one location to another. To bring that across treaty lands right now, the amount of dedication that is being intended and directed towards this old fourth world way of heavy metal and oil and militarization to have this kind of thing go on is completely in the opposite direction of where most of us are going, and that's towards the new light of the fifth world, which is all of our technology and spirituality and humanity kind of coming together and coalescing.
Destroying Earth like we can make it without water or air. She ain't ours, we are hers, and we cannot compare. Our job is to preserve, though we don't deserve to remain. We can't contain our ego, don't live equal, need to refrain, reframe, and retrain. Rich folks make systems of fear and hypocrisy, while we slip through the margins of this so-called democracy. I said I'm native and I'm peaceful, standing rock hard like Dakota. North, south, bring east and west, we're gonna show up, check. Their privilege and their comfort, their history and reflect. Don't confuse protect with protest, and instead use the platform for a cause and listen when the earth says, without me those lungs of yours are so gone. Without me those lungs of yours are so gone. Without me those lungs of yours are so gone. Without earth these lungs of ours are so gone.
My name is Randy. I've been here for 10 days. The main reason is to stand in support with the Standing Rock Sioux tribe in defending their water rights, because they do depend on this river to survive and live. I believe in clean water. I believe in the way that people need to really start thinking about our water, because it's being poisoned not just here in Standing Rock, where it hasn't yet happened, but the potential is there, and it will happen if this pipeline is built. Around the world, the water is just being polluted at a high rate, and pretty soon, not just Standing Rock and not just the United States, but all over the world is going to see a water shortage because of the way we're using it and just contaminating it with various chemicals and toxins. I believe in clean water as well as to stand with Standing Rock, and I feel those two are kind of one and the same. So that's what brought me out here. And also, you know, because I'm an Oneida from Wisconsin, these are my relatives. I'm not directly related to them, but I mean, in a native way, we are all related. That's why I'm here, to help these people defend their water rights. As far as dreams and all that stuff, I mean, I don't really have dreams, but I do have hopes, and I hope that people will see the light about what's going on around the world as far as pollution and these fossil fuel industries that are just polluting this planet at a high rate. Water is very important. It affects all life. All life has water in it. We have water in it. Plants have water. The dirt has water. Everything has water in it. And if that gets poisoned, we all get poisoned. What happened the other night, Morton County decided to attack the front line, and that's exactly what they did. They opened and used their weapons on unarmed people. I myself was in there almost from beginning to end. Numerous people shot by rubber bullets, hauled off. I had numerous concussion grenades being blown up around me. Also various other explosive devices I can't identify. Just endless violence and carnage perpetrated by Morton County on unarmed people. It's one thing if this was like a war and the playing field was leveled and we both had the same amount of weaponry, but there was no weapons on this side. We're completely unarmed. We're in peace, we're in prayer, and we just want to stop this pipeline. And what happened the other night was an actual direct assault by the Morton County Police.
The Standing Rock Medic and Healer Council responded to a mass casualty incident that began at 6 p.m. Sunday evening. Approximately 300 injuries were identified, triaged, assessed, and treated by our team, working in collaboration with local emergency responders. These 300 injuries were the direct result of excessive force by police over the course of 10 hours. At least 26 seriously injured people had to be evacuated by ambulance to 3 area hospitals. Beginning on Sunday night, police assaulted demonstrators with repeated simultaneous water cannons for the 7 hours in sub-freezing temperatures, dipping to 22 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 5.5 degrees Celsius.
Icicles on the razor wire. Imagine how cold all these people are.
Causing hypothermia in the majority of patients treated. Chemical weapons in the form of pepper spray and tear gas were also used extensively, requiring chemical decontamination for nearly all patients treated and severe reactions, including respiratory distress in many. Projectiles in the form of tear gas canisters, rubber bullets, and concussion grenades led to numerous blunt force traumas, including head wounds, lacerations, serious orthopedic injuries, eye traumas, and internal bleeding.
Injuries from the mass casualty incident include a young woman named Sophia Wolanski was shot by police by a grenade-like device, an elder who lost consciousness and his pulse and was revived on the scene, a young man with a grand mal seizure, a woman shot in the face by a rubber bullet with a torn retina, multiple instances of internal bleeding, multiple severe head lacerations, and multiple fractures secondary to projectiles fired by police. A 21-year-old woman from New York City, Sophia Wolanski, was severely injured when a concussion grenade thrown by police hit her left arm and exploded. The Morton County Sheriff's Department has stated that she was injured by a purported propane explosion that the Sheriff's Department claimed the unarmed people created.
What are they trying to to frame us with that?
That we burned these. So they're trying to get more charges, basically. You know, and if with more charges they can say, oh, they're felonies, they're doing these felony stuff. There's proof that we don't have nothing that is that hot. Right there. Because look how it just melted them.
These statements are refuted by Sophia's testimony, by the lack of charring of the flesh at the wound site, and by the grenade pieces that have been removed from her arm in surgery and will be saved for legal proceedings.
They're just trying to justify their own actions. They don't want public opinion swaying negatively on them, even worse than it already is. They already know that people are finding out the truth, so they're doing their best to cover their butt with lies, and it's terrible. Right? They have to look in the mirror at night. They have to sleep in their own bodies.
On that day, I was assaulted by law enforcement, right, as well as my medic buddy. We were visibly marked as medics and riding on one of the medic vehicles as we were complying with moving south. We were attacked. The driver of that medic vehicle was arrested, and another medic was arrested and beaten at that time. Otherwise, in that day, we had beanbag rounds shot at us, concussion grenades thrown at us, and pepper spray hosed on us with our backs turned while we were taking care of patients. This is the sort of violations of international law in the targeting of medics that have been happening here as well.
The mental and emotional impacts of what happened here on Sunday night and what continues to happen against unarmed people who are standing here to protect water and to protect future generations will leave these people needing medical care and psychological care and support from the community, support from all of us, and just support and things that they are going to continue to battle and deal with and overcome for years to come.
It's very obvious. All you need is one snapshot, one image, and you can see who's bringing violence. You can see who's bringing that kind of their own protest, their own thing out in front of all of us. That's why a punch hasn't been thrown in 8 months in the face of mace, in the face of tear gas, rubber bullets, bulldozers, sound machines, all their militarized force, and the batons and everything else. And you know, we're protecting what's sacred, and that involves going out and doing what's necessary and meeting life with life, and not going to the extreme that they're going. There are no weapons here. There are not even any talk of that kind of thing.
What if they did? We're up here to protect our people, our water, and hopefully bring this pipeline to an end, because little do they know it's going to harm the whole world if it goes through. You know, try to get them to stop as best we can. Hopefully the whole world sees this and take part of it. Hopefully choose the right side.
This isn't your land to do this on. Our people have bled on these lands. And now you're stopping us from going up there to pray. None of you guys have hearts? None of you guys have family? How would you like me if I went over to the burial grounds where your grandma and grandpas are at and put barbed wire around it? How would you like that?
There's going to be another big holiday 2 days after Thanksgiving to celebrate the same shit.
You got to have the mentality that you will be arrested, you will be shot, you will be brutalized, you will be affected in some way, shape, or form, and you got to have the mentality, you know, that you're stepping into a war zone. You know, it's a war within ourselves as the people of America, trying to get our voice across that we are the people. Without us, there is no government. Without us, there wouldn't be what we have today. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that goes even deeper than that. Without us, this country wouldn't be the way it is. I mean, the very structure of the government is based off of Native Americans. You know, the way we ran our villages and stuff like that. I mean, practically, this is our land. This is our home, and it always will be. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what anybody else thinks, we are the indigenous people of this land. We know how to take care of it. You know, and We're proving that time and time again. Why are we the only ones that have to be looked down upon as someone who is a tree hugger or a mud stomper or some hippie thinking, no, we go deeper than that. We have roots far deeper than that. And it's about the earth, it's about unity, it's about respect for everything that we have, because that's how we were raised. And we're still holding on to that today.
Assaulting and hurting the people and blaming it on the people. They're breaking the law, but they will not tell you that because they are the law. When they shoot you with things and spray you with cold water and frigid temperatures, it's your fault. Because that's what they want you to believe, that you brought it on yourself, and in reality, they are doing it. And it has nothing to do with us, and we are not responsible for their actions. We can stand here peacefully in prayer, and that's all right. Because it's okay to stand up for you believe. Remember, this is a free country. Freedom of speech, you can say anything you want. It's every race that has come here to stand here and protect our future. Our future is in this water. And just as the indigenous people are extensions of this earth, so are you. My dad said we all came from tribes, and he's exactly right.
Yes.
Your guns are not more powerful than our prayers, though you may try to make us believe that. You're protectors of this nation as the police. Protect the people. That's your job. That's what you are paid to do. Don't break the law and justify it. Every single person in this camp is a citizen, and it is your duty, your sworn duty, your oath to protect them. So how do you justify making a woman lose her arm or shooting people in the head with bean bags, spraying freezing water on them in frigid temperatures? That's attempted murder. And it didn't come from this side of the water. It came from your side.
It makes me feel like we're on our own out here. And once again, the military betrays Native people.
You're being cowardly. You're not men.
They betray Native trust. They betray the treaties. There's no honor in what he's doing or any of these folks. You know, in the military, you sign an oath. You literally put your life on the line for the U.S. Constitution and people of America. This is a complete betrayal of all that in my eyes as a veteran and as a Native person. It feels very threatening to me. They've waged war on us. The tactics that they're using, this barbed wire, concertina wire, is something that you would do when you're in a combat zone. The lights is psychological warfare. The surveillance that they're running, those are warfare tactics as well. The chemicals they're using are chemical warfare tactics. The absurdity that they're calling Native people trespassers is also just completely, totally, absolutely absurd to me. That Native people would be called trespassers on their own land. Doesn't make any sense. And you have a two-star general up there picking sides with uniforms and not with people, with companies and not with people.
We have had aircraft flying over our camp for several days, different kinds of small charter planes and what appears to be helicopters, coming through at night. Using this space illegally. They don't have any permits or permission to be using the airspace above federal tribal lands, so they're breaking the law to begin with. These resources belong to our children. This water belongs to our children. This is our future. These kids need this land. They need this water. They need these resources, and they need us to stand and fight and protect them.
Every promise
The measure of American civilization, of the United States, is always going to be how are they treating the least of these, the most vulnerable, and that begins with our indigenous brothers and sisters. Don't let anybody tell you that the original sin of the United States was the enslavement of black people. That was the second one. The first one was the mistreatment and the dispossession of land and bodies and murder and mayhem of indigenous brothers and sisters. And that's what brings us together, our commitment to unarmed truth. And the condition of truth is always to allow suffering to speak, and our commitment to unconditional love. And that love is always connected to a hatred of injustice.
A federal judge has ordered the Dakota Access Pipeline shut down, called for it to be emptied of all oil in the next 30 days, pending an environmental review.
The sun is still shining, the water is clean. I'm pleased to announce that the Dakota Access Pipeline is now officially open for business, a $3.8 billion investment, and nobody thought any politician would have the guts to approve that final leg. And I just closed my eyes and said, do it.
The controversial Dakota Access Pipeline, construction of which was resumed by President Trump after he took office, is leaking. And it hasn't just leaked once or twice, but 3 times.
It's an injustice of the century. It's time to really wake up to the plight of Native peoples and to what's been taken and to what continues to be invaded on and plundered with the protection of private corporate military. It's just completely uncalled for. It's time for a new era. I don't think any organization or any group of people has been able to model nonviolent direct action for 8 months straight like this. So I'm so proud of all my peoples that have been here doing this. It's time to get active and wake up to what you can do for your own local community and connect with your own local Native communities.
600 people have given their life or their liberty or their limbs. They have risked those things for our benefit, on our behalf. So this is the focal point of the fight for civil rights, human rights, and constitutional rights.
Come out! Please stop resisting. Please, I'm asking nicely, please stop resisting, okay?
When the National Guard in the state of South Dakota brought in the police and shut people down, the camp didn't end for us. Still have people here. We are still to this day, drones in our yards and following us. All we want is for America to follow their own laws. We won in court that says the pipeline must be taken out of the ground. Then we won in court that the pipeline was illegal because they didn't have an environmental impact statement. They put out a press release saying they refuse the court order. And then the court says they can't refuse the court order. They have started construction without a construction permit. Again, all of this process of seeing the real America, what I also see is some of the best people in the whole world. I have met more good people than I have met bad people. It was not the beginning or the end. It was just a little seed to show us what we can do. I will not stop until DAPO's pipes are out of my ground.
We are not going to allow a pipeline to endanger the clean water that millions of people depend upon.
I'm very hopeful that the shareholders this morning are waking up and reconsidering their investment in the fossil fuel industry, and particularly the expansion of the fossil fuel industry. You know, we just saw the Atlantic Coast pipeline also get scrapped. We've seen Keystone XL get scrapped through the years. The Energy East tar sands pipeline get scrapped. This is a series of events and resistance, particularly led by indigenous people across Turtle Island, that the expansion of the fossil fuel industry just cannot happen any longer.
We are in this together.